All right, Sandra, let's bring in Fox News contributor and former National Security Advisor Keith Kellogg. So, General, let's look at what happened over the past weeks. Israel blew up Hezbollah pagers. Then when they reached for their emergency radios, they blew those up, too. If you want to try to wage an effective campaign, whether it's war or something less against your enemy, first thing you do is take down their comms. And then, in addition, sow mistrust in everything that they have.
Yeah, John, thanks for having me. You nailed it. That's exactly right. The last thing you do before you start a major campaign is you knock down their command and control, you attack their key leaders. That's exactly what they did with their pager attack. All of those people that were hit with those pagers were leaders of consequence, meaning some type of leadership within Hezbollah. Israel has moved past Gaza right now. They've actually shifted their focus to Hezbollah and to Lebanon right now, and you're going to start seeing that more and more with the air attacks, with the attacks on the pagers, the command and control. You're going to see this thing escalating. And I listened to President Biden just a minute ago. There's a huge difference between rhetoric and reality. He's just talking off a card. There's no de-escalation. The Israelis are clearly escalating this fight, and this is going to continue. And with Netanyahu going to the UN, if he's smart, he's going to blow them up. And what he's going to say is 20 years ago, the UN Security Council passed a resolution, 1701, that was supposed to solve this problem in Lebanon. Hezbollah was supposed to disarm. The guy who signed that agreement was Hassan Nasrallah, the leader of Hezbollah now, and they were supposed to move north of the Litani River. They never did it. And I think the Israelis now are committed to finishing that fight right now, whatever it's going to take for them to do it, to allow those 60,000 displaced civilians from Israel back into their living abodes.
Yeah, you saw the president reacting there with the president of the United Arab Emirates, but earlier he was asked about this. This was on Sunday as he was returning to the White House. Listen to what he said here.
Are you worried about rising tensions in the Middle East?
Yes, I am, but we're going to do everything we can to keep a wider war from breaking out, and we're still pushing hard.
All right, so he said that he's worried about it, but here's the thing for Israel. They've got some 60 to 100,000 people from the northern part of Israel who've been displaced for the better part of a year now because Hezbollah started striking out October the 8th, I believe it was, the day after October the 7th. And Israel is saying enough of this. We want our people to be able to go home. And to them, this is the only way of doing it.
Yeah, John, Israel does not trust the United States right now to be any type of peacemaker or interlocutor at all. They've just disregarded what the United States is going to do. They're going to handle this on their own, and I think they're going to be able to do it now. You can really see that they've shifted away from Gaza with the preponderance of the military force. Look at the airstrikes and look at the map that the targets that they've hit. Look what they did to the command and control. Look at them taking out major infrastructure as well. They're really planning to go ahead and really hard, and they're going to solve this. And I think Netanyahu's got it right. He has decided to take a plan, go forward with it, and actually eliminate, at least from the south of the Litani River, all Hezbollah positions to allow those people, and you mentioned between 60 and 100,000, to return to their homes. And I think he's making a real point. I don't think this thing is going to de-escalate at all. I think you're looking at an escalation, not only today and tomorrow, but in the coming weeks. This fight is far from finished.
All right, so Robert Charles is the former Assistant Secretary of State in the Bush 43 administration. Here's what he said on Fox and Friends about the resolve from the Biden administration to do something about this. Listen here.
This is the choice between deterrence and appeasement. And in the end, unfortunately, the Biden-Harris crowd has been very much about appeasement. I don't think there's any room for that anymore.
All right, so no room for appeasement anymore. Question to you, because you know him, you work for him. How does this situation unfold if Trump becomes president on November the 5th?
Well, first of all, we never would have been in this position, John, if President Trump had been there, because he would have reached out, obviously, to the leaders and tried to work something through it. But the biggest thing he would have done, he would have picked a side. He would have said, who's good, who's bad, whose side do we want to be on? And he would have gone on the side of Israel, and he would have used massive forces if necessary to do it. This is historically what we've done before. Look, I'll go back to what President Nixon did in the Yom Kippur War when he said, when he put every cargo airplane the United States had, filled it with armament and sent it to Israel and said, we're going to let them finish this fight. That's what you have to do. You have to pick a side. Understand that the people backing Hezbollah are in fact the Iranians. So this is a fight between good and evil and between Israel and Iran, and we need to support them. If we had done that earlier and we had said, nope, this is how we're going to go, they would have quieted down. John, this didn't happen in the 4 years President Trump was involved in the Middle East. And it happened under Biden because what was said earlier is correct. They've actually let basically deterrence slide. That's because you have to have two parts of deterrence. One is capability of the troops, the manpower, whatever it takes to get there, but it also is will. And if you don't have the will, all the capability you have is zeroed out. And if you don't have the will, you don't have deterrence. President Trump had the will, and he showed that multiple times with Soleimani and with other people in the region as well, when he took them out and when he eliminated ISIS, and when all those hard activities that he took, from moving the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem when we were told that there's going to be another intifada. That never happened at all. This is just the way you have to handle that part of the world, with absolute strength.
All right, we'll see which way this heads in the days and weeks ahead. General, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, John.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.